Welcome to the Inspired Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea De La Cerda, and each week I'm bringing you the latest discussions and news about changes in the landscape of education and entrepreneurship. As a 22-year entrepreneur, corporate executive, business coach, and leader, I mentor a community of change-making men and women to get out of their box and step into their true calling to make the biggest impact. This podcast is all about empowering people, navigating life's twists and turns, and stepping into the fullest version of who we are meant to be. Today, I want to explore a concept that's empowering but often overlooked: romanticizing your life. Okay, I know what you're thinking now. Romanticize my life, Andrea? My sometimes scattered, acutely chaotic, often unesthetic life? Sure, I'll get right on that. But stay with me now, I promise. This is crucial. Romanticizing your life isn't meant to be an occasional indulgence. In reality, it's an essential practice for well-being and success, especially for women balancing work, leadership, family, personal fulfillment, and everything else life throws at us. Let me explain. As women, we show up for others. We are expected to show up for others. We meet deadlines, handle crises, care for loved ones, and we often still work at length to shatter the glass ceiling and go above and beyond in our professional life. But how often do we pause just to ask ourselves, am I actually enjoying my life? And depending on where you are right now, you might hear that question, and that might actually feel like a scary question to ask yourself. Maybe you're afraid of the answer. And if you're like me, you've experienced periods where you're running on autopilot, when your days are nonstop. It's easy to fall into a pattern of moving from checklist task to checklist task without actually experiencing life. So here's the uncomfortable truth. If we don't intentionally find joy in our everyday lives, we risk burning out before we ever come close to reaching our goals. So today we're diving into how to shift our perspective, reclaim our joy, and yes, romanticize our lives, not as a luxury, but as a necessity for sustainable success and fulfillment. Before we dive into stories and strategies, let's get an understanding of what's happening in our brains when we romanticize our lives. This isn't just fluffy, feel-good science. Research highlights evidence that romanticizing your life actually creates measurable improvements in mental health, productivity, and overall well-being. So let's start by talking about serotonin. Serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for mood stabilization and emotional regulation. Engaging in positive experiences, things super simple like appreciating nature on a walk, or journaling your thoughts, or setting an aesthetic bubble bath, naturally boost serotonin levels. These in turn, they improve your mood and reduce symptoms of depression. Beyond serotonin, neuroplasticity plays a key role in rewiring our brains for positivity. When you intentionally focus on romanticizing moments, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with optimism and gratitude. Over time, this process, known as experience-dependent neuroplasticity, makes it easier for your brain to default to a more positive outlook. So if you've been that glass is half empty person, your brain could rewire itself to be more the glass is half full person. Another powerful cognitive shift is positive reappraisal, or the practice of reframing ordinary moments as meaningful or beautiful. This mental shift helps redirect focus from stressors to sources of joy, increasing resilience, enhancing emotional control, and boosting overall life satisfaction. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that individuals who practice, quote, positive savoring or mindfully appreciating everyday experiences, they actually reported a 33% increase in life satisfaction and a 29% decrease in symptoms of depression over just 8 weeks. In short, by shifting your perspective and embracing the beauty in everyday moments, you're not just boosting your mood, you're rewiring your brain for greater happiness, resilience, and success. And just a side note, if you're interested in a deeper discussion on mindset, I'll link my free mindset makeover program in the show notes. It's packed with science-backed insights and actionable exercises that really help you train your mind for more joy, clarity, and confidence. So make sure you look in the episode notes for that if you're interested. So why does romanticizing our lives matter even more for women than men? Well, for women, especially those in leadership or business, we are often expected to do everything, work hard, run businesses, make money and lots of it, raise families, take care of the home, stay healthy and fit, and somehow at the end of the day, make it all look effortless. Go to bed, get up the next day, and do it all again. The pressure to be everything to everyone, including ourselves, is unreal. It's really impossible. Research only further enforces this. As women, we often carry an immense and often invisible load. According to the American Psychological Association, women report overall significantly higher stress levels than men, largely due to balancing work and household responsibilities. And another study found that women, especially those in leadership, face higher rates of burnout than men, with many feeling the pressure to always be on at work while also being the primary caretakers at home. And when it comes to household, domestic, and caregiving duties, well, 60% or more of those tasks fall on women, even in dual income homes. This second shift extension of the day creates a persistent imbalance that impacts our quality of life over time. It makes it difficult to imagine how you could even begin to romanticize the day-to-day nuances of life. There's only so many minutes in the day. There's only so much time. Let's put it this way. We know the roses are there somewhere, but we've convinced ourselves there's no time to stop and smell them. So what do we do instead? We sprint towards success, but we forget to enjoy the journey. We push through the exhaustion, we ignore our needs, and we tell ourselves that happiness awaits at some future milestone. How many times have you told yourself this is just a season that I'm in? This is just the season I'm in. We tell ourselves that once we, quote, make it, we'll finally slow down and enjoy life. But let's be real talk here. It never happens that way. That, quote, one day never actually seems to arrive. If we don't learn how to romanticize our lives now, we'll always be waiting for happiness to arrive, or we'll always be waiting for that moment we can appreciate it. Not stopping to savor the little moments means missing out big ways to find joy, love, and purpose in the everyday. This is exactly what the research confirms, that future happiness that we crave rarely materializes if we haven't developed it along the way. For example, a landmark 85-year Harvard study on adult development found that happiness and fulfillment are not determined by career achievements or wealth, but by the quality of our relationships and our ability to find joy in everyday experiences. In other words, a thriving career, complete with a generous salary, unlimited PTO, and that fabulous corner office that you've dreamt of holds very little meaning if you haven't found ways to savor your accomplishments and share them with the people who matter most. Last year, I had the opportunity to travel to France to meet up with my business coach who lives there and a few other colleagues. A key takeaway for me from the 2-week trip came after observing how the French choose to celebrate pleasure by enjoying moments every day, whether it's a long lunch or a meetup with a friend for an aperitivo at 5 p.m., maybe a quiet walk, or just stopping to smell the lavender. They live a life worth living. When I came home, I was committed to bringing France with me, at least a little bit of it. Vacations like these are a wonderful way to take a break from real life, but what if you can commit to bringing home some of those best aspects of your visit? If you haven't already listened to it, I recommend going back to episode 28 called From Tolerance to Transformation, Embracing Joy and Change. It's a great summary of what I learned on my trip and what I'm still working to incorporate in my everyday life. You might also hear some nuggets there that will inspire you too. So if you haven't already given it a listen, please do. Here's what I want you to take away from today's conversation. You deserve to enjoy your life now, not just when you, quote, earned it. The more joy you cultivate, the more empowered and successful you become. And slowing down, it's not a failure. It's simply self-care. So my challenge for you this week is simple. Find one small way to romanticize your life. Choose one daily activity you normally rush through and commit to romanticizing this activity for just 7 days. Don't overcomplicate it. Just create a simple plan to engage your senses. Slow down and find beauty in this everyday experience. It could be driving your kids to school, sparking some conversation, turning the radio down, and choosing to be there and present in that moment with them. It might be just jamming out to a playlist when you're stuck in traffic on the morning commute, or using those, quote, good candles and the extra fluffy towels that are reserved for special occasions during your nightly bath routine. Find a way to make these everyday moments feel special because you're here with the people that you love, and that's enough of a reason to celebrate. Take note of how these small shifts might impact your mood, your energy, and your approach in other areas of your life. And don't be hard on yourself if you slip up. Research says it takes us 66 days to form a habit. 66 days. Just think of how many small moments of joy can be found in 66 days and how that can change the trajectory of everything else in your life. I'm also going to encourage a little forward thinking. If, quote, one day were to ever arrive, what would that look like for you? I created the Vision Board Playbook, Design Your Dream Year, as a free download to help you kick off the new year and gain some clarity on what truly matters in the life that you love. By mapping out your dreams and desires, you'll define key points of focus that guide intentional choices and align your daily actions with what brings you the most joy. This is your time to reflect on what lights you up, what fuels your soul, what makes you feel like the main character in your own life. Think of it as romanticizing your future, not just the present, so you can step confidently into the life you're meant to live. You'll find the link to download the Vision Board Playbook in the episode show notes, so please go look for that. Romanticizing your life isn't an act of self-indulgence. It's an act of self-preservation. In a world that constantly pulls women in every direction, it's a powerful reminder that joy, it's not a reward for productivity. It's not a milestone to reach someday. You deserve to experience that joy right now. Whether it's taking a few extra minutes in the morning to enjoy your coffee, adding fresh flowers to your space, setting aside time to read just for fun. Start really small. Start somewhere. Just start. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Inspired Podcast this week. If today's episode resonated with you, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another woman who needs this message today. And until next time, keep dreaming, keep creating, and remember, your life is happening right now. Make it beautiful.